Hello, Kurt.
Hello, David.
How are you today?
We're going to try this again.
Yeah.
You know, the good thing about glitches, it does prove we're actually going live.
Yep, we are live.
It does prove that.
Just like live TV.
So, but we are on the air, and here we are on February the 22nd, 2020. Wow, what a bunch of twos.
Wow.
And we've got a chock-full webisode tonight.
We sure do.
You know, people like it real. And so we're going to get real tonight.
We're getting very real.
We're going to get hyper-real. Hyper-real.
Yeah. Look at that. We don't get any realer than that.
And I had some fun with the Photoshop, turning you and me into some hyper-real paintings there.
Right.
So that's here's some art terminology. You know, you got photorealism that really started all of this off. And I've got our handy-dandy guide here to actually give all this information. And photorealism, you know, it's a genre of art that encompasses painting, drawing, and other graphic medium. But the artists were using photographs, studying photographs, and the whole idea was to paint the painting just like visual recording, but taking it further than a photograph. But they could only work with photographs they had at the time of film.
Well,
there wasn't no digital when they started.
I want to say at the onset here that doing paintings like this takes a special kind of person.
It does.
Because I would be throwing things across studio before it was over with if I did it. I don't have the patience.
I know it's kind of like rendering, but I do think they take it a little further.
It's beyond rendering.
It is beyond rendering. So, but that's how it all got started with the photorealism, which is kind of inspired by pop art. Pop art had an influence leading into photorealism. So we're getting our terms kind of out of the way. We go to the next one here. And,
Hyper-realism.
Yeah, we get into hyper-realism now, and this is a whole new genre of painting. And because of digital photography and high-definition images now, artists are, I mean, it's like your television. You get details. You watch a ball game, you can see the pimples on the pitcher's nose. Well, they've used that technology to go even farther, and the point now, though, is to take it almost beyond reality, hyper-realism.
See into the pores in their skin.
And they use it in painting, graphics, sculpture. We're going to look at some actual icons of photorealism. Audrey Flack, an American artist. So, you know, and I'm not going to read all the titles tonight, but we're going to go through these quick because we've got a lot of images to show folks. So she's one of the major artists. All right, we got John Bader, and he did more like cityscapes and everything. But I've always liked these guys, so these are fun to look at. All right, Richard Estes. He's you know, one of the icons of it. He did a lot of New York urban scenes. And so it's another good example of the photorealism. And then I've always liked this guy, Robert Bechtel. He's in San Francisco. I like the way he does these. It's like an old Polaroid.
Yeah, the family against the station wagon.
Yeah.
That's a very famous one.
And you got Mom by the Chrysler down there, you know. So it almost looks like a Polaroid is what he worked from. But there was a point, it's just capturing more of an objective reality through paint. And the fact that it is painted adds its own realism to the realism. All right, now we're going to get into the hyper-realism, and we're kind of like a lot of artists do, landscapes and environments.
Right.
So here we have this gentleman named Anthony Brunel, and you know, he's an American, and he does. And what I found interesting, like this is even more detail. But if you notice, the perspective almost like a camera distorted, high definition type wide lens. So you know he's got an influence through the digital photography. So this is an example of landscapes. And I've got a couple more coming up. Davis Cone. This whole thing are making the movie arcades, you know, the front of movie theaters and capturing them. And it's like Art Deco movie theaters there. So I thought they
very specialized.
Yeah, but people love this, and apparently does very well with it. But you know, that's just what he does to capture it. So we just keep going. Now this guy I really like. I kind of enjoy him. It's Howard Kanovich. And he did start in photorealism and involved it. And you know, the idea with him, it's like they call him the grandfather of photorealism, but his work transcends the classification. That idea of creating a reality that hasn't been made, I think he's done it. I mean, I love the landscape down there. It's just got that hyper, beyond reality feel to it. it's an interesting thing he's been able to do with paint.
It actually looks like a 4K movie slide.
Yeah,
from a movie.
Yeah, but it goes beyond that. So he's got it. He captured it. All right, and this guy's well known too, Ralph Goings, and he did a lot of still lifes too. But I showed more of the landscapes in this. So just trying to give folks a lot of different. He painted a lot of hamburger stands, trucks.
Yeah.
So ketchup bottles. All right, I thought this was interesting here. This gentleman is, he's Dutch. So I'm showing artist Willem van Vadhuizen. His whole point is he's painting museum interiors. That's what he does. They seem to have a niche and they find it and they just go with it. So this is what he does as an example. Now, but it goes beyond just the 2D. It gets into sculptural. So here we have Hyper-Realism sculpture. Carol Feuerman, well known, and I put her image in there working on one of the pieces so people can get an idea of the size of these things. And then the mediums are listed on there. A lot of them are resin. She paints them. They'll have fiberglass. Some of them use polyester. But these are life size or bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many collectors throw things at these at night when they walk through the room to go get a glass of water in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you might. She's an American, and she's well known. So scale is important to him. All right, everyone knows this. Dwayne Hanson. We had to have Dwayne in here. And here's just some great examples of what he's done. Now, he would actually use real materials with it, mixed media, human hair, clothing, but these things literally are. People really do mistake them for real.
Years ago, they had a documentary of his processes.
Yeah, and his are life size,
They are they're absolute copies of the person.
Yeah.
He made castor plastic of many parts that fit back together.
He used polyresin, fiberglass, even Bondo, and bronze, Bondo. Yeah.
Bonzo's.
Yeah, Bonzo's So we had to include him. Now this guy.
This is freaky stuff.
Yeah, but all right, Ron Muick. I had the pleasure of getting to see his work at Art Basel back in 2005. In fact, one of the masks up there, the vertical one, the smaller one, I actually stood in front of, and it is bizarre. Even though they are semi-distorted, you're looking at it, you see the pores, you see the hair, everything, and you're waiting for it to breathe and talk to you. You want to talk about a hyper-realistic feeling. If you ever have a chance to see it, it's an incredible thing to stand in front of this because you literally expect them to start moving and talking. And once again, he's working on when you get the idea of the scale with the people, how big these things can be.
Right.
So this is
look
just another
at the people
good
next
example.
to the boy squatted down there.
Yeah. Somebody standing by the woman in the bed.
He's about 10 times larger than real.
Yeah, so these things are amazing to look at. Hyper-realism's just got a whole other thing going. Okay. All right, a couple more people that do the sculptural, John DeAndrea and Zarko Vashecki. And this stuff goes from around the world. He's Macedonian, American. And the guy on the left, he does a lot of life-size figures of women. On the right, these are pretty big pieces. Now, I don't have a scale to really give you on it, but they're large. So just some more examples in the world of sculpture. But all right, then we get into drawing, hyper-realism drawing, and we have a Nigerian artist over here. Bengu.
Bengu. That sounds
good. Nigerian. These are done with graphite, pencil, or charcoal. Here's on the left. And then we have Kelvin Okatar. He's British.
F-O-R.
Yeah, okay. Well, either way, we'll go with it. But these are, a lot of people think they're photographs. No, these are highly detailed rendered drawings. Some of them are very large. So you got a couple gentlemen working, and these are younger artists that have been influenced. Okay, the next one. How about ballpoint pen art? Juan Francisco Casa, Spanish. And then you have Samuel Silva, Portuguese. All right, the ones on the left, they're ballpoint drawings. Some of these things are 10 feet high.
Good grief.
Now, the guy on the right's interesting. He's a lawyer. But his hobby was making color ballpoint pen drawings. He uses about 8 different pen colors. And he posted these on the internet, and they went viral, and people loved the thing. So he's got an art career going now because of it. So it was a hobby. All right, now another classic.
Yeah,
we had to include old Chuck Close.
The big name. Yeah.
Charles Thomas Chuck Close. And, you know, he spans both photorealism and hyperrealism. And I put, you know, over there the image of Phil on the right with him standing next to it to give people an idea of the scale of these things. So, you know, we've got drawings. Okay, we get into something even more. How about societal hyperrealism? There are artists using the medium to help make people aware of issues in culture. That's one of the things the hyperrealism does try to do with the art form, where photorealism wasn't interested in that. They use it for social issues. They try to put narratives into it. So this gentleman, you know, Dennis Peterson, he goes out and captures the people that are kind of forgotten in society. And by making these images, he's actually been able to raise funds to help people.
Right.
So I thought that's a neat use of art. All right, I find this fellow, I like this guy. Godfrey Helwin. And he's Austrian-Irish. He got kicked out of art school in Austria because he was doing Third Reich imagery.
Well,
in
I
his
can
art.
understand that.
Well, yeah, it's an issue, but I understand
different
why he's doing it.
society,
He was
yeah.
talking about the culture and how things actually happen in the country. So he uses it to bring up issues, and I've got to admit, I kind of like, now that one untitled down there with Hitler and Mickey, I call it Mickey Rat. It's kind of a takeoff on Mickey Mouse. They had another name for it, artist dialogue. They're talking to the artist. And then the bottom left one was called American Art. We've got our retro 50s woman painting a Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard. Apparently he doesn't think much about American art. But I like the idea he's using this genre of painting to make social comments. And over here on the other side he's got him you know, the adoration of the Magi. So yeah, it gets people going, but it gets them to stop and look and think too. So I thought just an interesting use of it. All right, now how about this? Digital hyper-realism. I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Come full circle now.
Yeah, it's Burt Monroe. And these are actually created using Photoshop and Illustrator. Now he may have photographic references, but the image is totally...
These are not manipulated photographs.
No, they are not manipulated photographs. He literally makes them from ground zero up. And he is the guru, if I say it right, of Photoshop. In fact, he's a member of the Photoshop World Dream Team. It's been around a while. So I just more examples of what's being done. And he does, they're digital prints, so that's how you get them off the computer. So it's an art form. Okay, how about figurative hyperrealism? All right, look at this fellow up here, David Casson, an American younger gentleman. But how about that? He does a lot of life-size portraits. He's known for that. And I mean, he'll do a lot of semi-abstract backgrounds behind him and capture that too and bring it into the painting. So he does that. All right, then we have over here Otto Duecker, and he's done a lot of different things in art. He's done different subjects and still lives, floating fruit. But this is something new he's doing, these photographs.
Yeah.
He's painting, I love this, you're making a painting of a photograph to make it look like a hyper-realistic image. And he does a lot of celebrities and famous people. All right, I like this guy. Yigal Azareh.
That sounds good enough.
All right, he's an Israeli artist. Okay, born 1958. He takes female models and paints them in environments. That's what he does. And he's not, he's not like a pin-up thing or nothing like that. I think they're incredible. They've got this sense of reality that just goes beyond reality.
Yeah.
He's got it. And that's what he does. I just thought they were a great example of figurative art using this. I like the things. All right, then you can get into the still lives. And these I thought would be fun. We got a guy on the left, Peter Anton, who is a sculptor. These are not paintings. These are three-dimensional objects, and he uses food in his still lifes. Both of these guys use food. So you can see there he's got like a box of donuts, a hamburger, ice cream milk bars. They're three-dimensional objects that he's made. And using different materials, all right, the guy on the right, I'm just going to call him Mr. Sparnay.
That's good.
I'm not even going to try the first name. He's from the Netherlands.
He's calling
Dutch
TJ.
artist.
That's TJ.
Yeah, Dutch artist. He paints food. That's what he does.
Art that makes you hungry.
Yeah. So that's his little window of it. Okay, now you get into more still lifes, and I had to put a guy in, Don Jacob, because you know me, if it's a robot, I'm interested. The little old tin toys and stuff, kind of like American icons of our childhood. That's what he paints a lot of. He paints those. He does other things, but he's well known for that. Glenn Ray Tudor, he does a lot of comic type art. Now he's actually from Oxford, Mississippi. So now we're going to get into something a little bit different. Now we've heard of, metamorphosis of the butterfly.
Right.
How about anamorphosis? And this is based on the idea of an illusion. The idea goes back to the Renaissance, but it has to do with how an object is seen from, you control the point of view and perspective. And by doing that, you create an illusion. And what I've got on the right is a picture out of the video there, but these objects there's a Rubik's Cube, a shoe, and a roll of tape. If you go to this website, and I've got the URL listed there, it's called Brush Up. It's youtube.com Brush Up. This video, when it was put out back in 2013, it went viral. And when you can actually download those images and play with this if you want to. And I think the video, we'll go to it. Once I see the video, I think it'll make more sense what's going on. All right. That's an anamorphic illusion. And like I said, you control the viewpoint, the perspective, the point of view, and then it looks correct. But as soon as they turn it and you disturb it, you see what you're really looking at.
Messes with your head.
It's an illusion. It's an illusion. Now, I could not end this theme tonight without getting some of Big Buck's input coming into it. Big Buck had a few favorites that he wanted us to share tonight with folks. So, all right, there we go. Yeah, these are some of the images Big Buck wants to share. And of course, they have, they have
a theme going
on. I think they have a little bit of a foul nature to them, if you get my point. And that's our Godfrey, I can't remember his last name now, Winehelm or something. And then they Ron Muick. is on there too. So these are a couple he really liked with the chickens in there. So I thought we'd share those too.
Mm-hmm.
So even Big Buck gets into hyper-realism.
Hey, he does the research, so.
There we go. We've got our free use credits tonight.
Yeah.
Just to thank these folks for where the information is out there on the web. You can go check these websites out. And it's all out there to just find and look at. And, you know, we're cutting edge here at ArtStreamLIVE. You never know what we're going to share, but if it's art, we're into it. All right, well, good. And I hope everyone enjoyed that tonight. I kind of did. So
Yeah, it was interesting.
kind of like a little bit of a flashback to the old days in art school when we were looking at so close and then
Old
folks.
Chuck Close,
Yeah. So, all right. Well, if that's it, I guess we're wrapping it up, and I'll just tell people thank you for watching and happy Mardi Gras. It's that time of year. Let the good times roll, eh? All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.